Today we are going back to a series that I promised that we would, weapon breakdowns. And today, even better, we're going to go to the breakdown of the tonfa. The one that I keep promising. It's here. It's finally here. Please. Not clickbait, don't click away. Stay tuned. While we get everything, checking network data, I don't know what it's doing. But, oh, well, Sarge, where the fuck was this shit? Where was this shit about, like, you know, when we kept asking about it? Well, you see, low-key, I forgot about it. Also, as you can now see, all 4 characters are released. We will be going over Cassandra, too, as a bit of a bonus because you guys had to wait so long. We'll be going over her sword and shield combo, which is actually one of... I'm not going over the fighting style because all the fighting styles in this game are ridiculous. So I'm just going to go over the, pretty much the weapons themselves, would they work. And so we're going to go to creation, as per our standard affair. And we are going to take a quick look at tonfa. Well, I should say we're going to take a quick look at Talim, but that does actually involve... I will touch on the armor, but I've kind of already said everything I need to about Talim in her video, or in the video about armor in Soul Calibur. But for those of you who don't know, that don't play Soul Calibur, Talim's actually a wind priestess, so her clothing is set to fit more of that. So looking at her base weapons, these are actually traditional, more ceremonial weapons. Again, most of her stuff is. And before anybody hates on me, yes, they have actual tonfas here. And yes, these would be effective, especially these metal ones. They would actually probably hurt a lot. Tonfas themselves are hard to use, great to master. A bladed tonfa, though I have heard of them, I do know are insanely dangerous to the user because most of the moves involve rotating the blade back towards you. And these side blades here, again, dangerous to both the user and the victim of the attack, if you will. I could definitely see problems with this kind of fighting style. Especially if you're not used to it. It would take a lot of practice. And, which is, you're about to say, well then how did Talim do it? Well, she actually has years of practice with these. She does ceremonial dances, and I guess they're just sharp. I mean, I don't see why you would do that personally, but yeah, I guess they're just sharp. As for her actual, like, what would they be good against? Well, they're going to be good against a number of things. Tonfa are actually a fairly okay, counter to any of your kind of club shield kind of, anything that isn't bladed and isn't very long for reach. These things are a very good contender against. These bladed Tonfa, I have a feeling, would be more to counter daggers and dirks and stuff like that. So I don't believe they would be a war field, like a battlefield weapon, a weapon of war. They would probably be something like a monk would study. I could very easily see monks loving these just because of their high skill ceiling, and then their kind of, I'll say higher floor ceiling, because these things probably aren't that easy to use. I would imagine each of them weighs almost a pound, and that's not like a lot. And yes, I'm going to keep using the imperial system. I don't know the metric system, but enough of the static figure. We are going to take Talim into arcade battle, and I'm going to talk about who she's facing and you know, kind of what would actually happen if I was Talum and I had to fight this person with these tonfas, these bladed tonfas, which are, again, most of the weapons here are cool ideas that really get you thinking, but some of them, another very unusual weapon off the bat. This is awesome. So Voldo uses a weapon known as Katars. And these were an Indian-designed weapon, Indian as in the country, not the Native Americans, that were used for very much a battlefield weapon. They have long blades meant for punching, and if our boy Voldo actually used these right, they would be very deadly. You see, I'm only okay with Talum, it's been a minute. But you see, like, see how Talum's moves are more, by nature, her moves are more rhythmic. So she's definitely more used to actually dancing with these than fighting with them, which I would actually see a problem. Especially if she's going up against someone like this that has a lot of experience fighting and that moves in this very unorthodox way. But oh wow, I just rang myself out. Blooper reel.
Battle 3, fight.
I have been fighting with mainly Cassandra as of recent because I was so stoked when she came in. But and that's why I'm only doing this on normal difficulty. I am not this. There are some people where I make it look like I am a beast at this game, and there are some people where it's like, sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm not. And now let's talk about grappling real quick. Also, her jumps are completely insane. Voldo's just gonna keep hitting me with that, isn't it? Nope. So her grapples and in general grappling with a tonfa would be kind of not a thing because obviously you see her. Well, no duh, kid, you're wearing like nothing but a bra and a necklace, but you see her pretty much holding onto these. She has no strap whatsoever to secure these to her person, so she would have to drop one of her tonfa, which you don't want to do because obvious. Sophithia, okay, sword and shield. This would actually be a terrible matchup for the tonfa because Sophithia could let me just beat away on that shield, and then she could just shield bash me, get me off my footing, stab me with that. I believe that's supposed to be like a Gladius ripoff of some kind or another short sword. Doesn't matter, she could stab me with it. Pretty much game over right there. Did I just Sonic Spinball? Okay then. And that, like her dragging her opponent, yeah, if someone grabbed your leg like that, I could see, but again, she can't grab because she's, well, I mean, in that one, it shows her more using her body to grab than her arm, but it's still very dangerous. I would not attempt that. So, and yes, we will be looking at, we're not going to look at both Sophithia and Cassandra because they have pretty much identical weapons, but I do want to mention that these two are some of the more, like, if I had to choose weapons, I would probably go for this Mitsurugi or Kill. And I'm actually thinking about doing a double episode of this, so episode 4 may come out tomorrow. So you're gonna get 3 weapon breakdowns, actually. Ow. And this will be the last bout we do with Colin. Ow. Ow. There, you killed me. Good God.
Battle 4. Fight.
Because I do want to talk about some final things, but I just thought it would be fun to kind of say, hey, this would be a good matchup or a bad matchup, and we only did a couple just so you kind of get a feel for what I'm talking about. Because I'm obviously not going to go through everyone in the game. That's going to take a long time, and I don't know if you guys want to sit here and listen to me ramble on about that for God, how many minutes. Okay. Cloning no jutsu. And just so you're aware, yes, tonfas would be an acceptable answer to tonfas, just not in this actual instance because they're both bladed tonfas, so you're actually going to do a lot of nothing. So I'm just gonna take Cassandra into arcade and I'll talk about her weapons. You know what? No, we'll do a full breakdown. We'll do a full breakdown. We don't need to because honestly everybody already knows her weapons, but I'll do it anyway. And yes, someday we'll get to the created characters, just not today. So the next one would actually probably be Gra after today's breakdown, because I'm trying to do the more ridiculous weapons first. I want to... And then afterward, where is Cassandra? Hello? She should be down. Oh, here she is. Okay, I just passed her like 20 times. So, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Cassandra. First of all, yes, that little ribbon thing, I like. Not part of the weapon breakdown, just want to break that down separately. So this would be considered a buckler and a one-handed sword. That is very reminiscent of a spatha, which is kind of like a gladius. And this would be a very acceptable, especially for a female traveler that's just looking to defend herself. Yeah, this would be great for that. Let's look at some of the variants. I know I only did this somewhat with the tonfa, but you'll know why in a minute. So the Dark Blade is more of a sword and a half kind of style. You see that, and it's got more of the kind of teardrop shield almost. Still a buckler. Like, none of these actually go beyond buckler. And then we have Baker's daughter. They brought it back, the basket and the rolling pin. You can actually stab with that. And then this shield is actually the full teardrop shield. And these were actually pretty effective, surprisingly. So, her sword and shield, while they don't look the most amazing, this would be a very good combination. Again, especially for not only female travelers. I just said that because Cassandra's here now. But, the buckler is kind of what I want to focus on because the spatha, that's what I'm going to call it. Kind of looks like spatha. Yeah, that's solid metal, so you're definitely not getting through it anytime. And let's go ahead and... Oh, let's see what we can do with Cassandra. Again, we'll do the same thing. I'll go into arcade. Not creation. I'll go into arcade. I'll comment, oh, this would be, in my opinion, good or bad against this weapon. But keep in mind, just because you have a, air quote, poor matchup against a certain weapon, doesn't mean you're gonna lose right off the rip. It just means you have to know what you're doing. So, like, Ah, yes. Geralt, the one that we won't be doing because he's from the Witcher series, and I don't actually know a lot about him yet. I would like to know how he produces his magic, whether that's him or the
A merchant ship.
or the weapon.
Come on. Battle.
His weapons, his swords though, not a bad matchup. Could use some better armor. See, whenever I get threatened, I can just go right behind this shield. Oh, and that's the fight right there, honestly. Right when I stabbed him, that was the fight. Because he's not getting up from that. And even if he managed to, like if he managed to fight to his feet, that shield bash I gave him. That shield bash I gave him really didn't do him any favors. And that's something else, like jumping on your opponent and shield bashing them, yeah, that would hurt like shit. So that's actually something that you could do. Although he did kill me. Even though his form is, at least in the game, is crap. And don't get me wrong, Cassandra does not have great form either, but she's actually a baker's daughter, so she doesn't really know what she's doing. So that kind of makes sense.
I'll show you.
There's no reason for this. I just wanted to show this off because I think it's a really cool special. There we go. Said I was good with Cassandra, then I
always win in the end.
Then I kind of got a little cocky, a little carried away, and got beat around a little bit. But Cassandra's definitely, I wouldn't say she's a hard character to use, I would say she's hard to master, because she has a lot of things you can do, and you just have to figure out how to... Oh, a chain sword. Okay, so in practicality, Cassandra would... I know I just said you don't lose right off the rip, but this sword would be non-functional? Assuming it's functional, I'm still in a pretty good position, because...
I won't tear you apart.
Again, anytime I get harassed, I can just go behind my buckler. Might be a little harder to block against, but she's not blocking me either. Okay? Especially when she's in that chain mode, she might be able to ensnare my sword or my buckler maybe, but she won't be able to get both. So yeah, this is a pretty favorable matchup to Cassandra. As you can see, he says... Oh, epic shield bash right into that like wall, that gate. That would hurt.
Escape is futile. Can't beat me.
So
I'll show you.
it's very easy to get a combo going with Cassandra. We'll do one more, just like with Tom.
Well, I won.
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought.
And yeah, she is one of my favorite characters just because she doesn't really give a shit about anything. She's just like, yeah, my sister's in trouble, taking these by. And That was her in the old canon too, so that's not just like Soul Calibur 6 canon. Ooh, Nightmare. Okay, so a organic sword that is about the size of Cloud's Buster sword. So right off the bat, you're gonna say, oh well, Nightmare's got this one, Sarge. Yeah, no. That would be way too unwieldy. That thing looks... He's not even using his giant monster claw thing to wield it. So yeah, no. Assuming he could wield it, yeah, it's definitely gonna be a problem. So I will say Cassandra, considering it's Nightmare, would have a bad matchup, but
Oh dear.
again, if he's willing to carry that big ass sword, I would carry a shield. So, and again, that combo that you saw, shield bash charge, spin, and stab, never gets old. Neither does that really, because that's a really good way to break up your opponent.
Now that's what I call a critical hit.
Okay, that's a new voice line from her. Didn't realize she had that. So Cassandra's probably the kind of not star. Oh, Grow. Oh, my boy. You showed up at the wrong time. So I'm gonna rip on his fucking sword real quick. Should I kill him? Yeah, we'll kill him. It's Gra. No one likes him.
My mission is what matters.
So first of all, this emo edgelord Darth Vader wannabe, he doesn't really have reach, he doesn't have defense, and his swords really aren't aligned to do damage, so he doesn't really have much. And I'm gonna save the rest of this little rant for when I do him the next weapon breakdown. But Cassandra is a great match for him. No problem. I do not foresee this dude being able to take down somebody, especially if they know what they're doing with a buckler and shield. As even a novice being trained in this weapon would probably be able to take someone out with this ridiculous stupidity of a weapon. That is my opinion, just because I don't like the double sword one. Now, to this one's credit, it can actually click apart, kind of. So it does kind of make sense there. But he should definitely be using it in the more clicked apart state. And then maybe put it together for like certain combos when it would actually kind of make sense to have a blade on both sides. There we go, and I just beat Graw, so there's no problem
What do
there.
you know? I just won.
And that's why. Right there. That is why I think Cassandra should have been in base. Should have been in base game. Definitely should have been in base game, but she wasn't. Sad face. She's here now. So yeah, same thing I just said about Talon taking us up with you. Not really a good matchup for the tonfas, because again, if I'm feeling harassed, I can get behind that buckler, I can kind of push her off me. I've got so many options, especially against a dancer, not a fighter. But that will do it for Sarge's recap today. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next Sarge's recap.